I'm Kim McIntosh, and I teach biology at Shadow Mountain High School in Phoenix, Arizona. And today I'm going to talk to you about the microscope and tell you how we're going to be using the microscope in class. So first of all, let's talk about the different types. The light microscope is the microscope that you're probably most familiar with. It's the one that we use in school. It's the one that's shown on the picture here. The lenses in a light microscope, they bend, or what we call refract, the light, and it makes the object appear closer to you. So there are three common magnifications. There's 40, 100, and 400. We also have stereoscopes, and we'll be using these this year as well. This one you look in with two eyes, but it only magnifies about 10 to 20 times. And so we use this for larger objects. A lot of times, maybe when we're doing dissections and we have a larger piece of something, we're not going to make a microscope slide for it, but we will look at it under the stereoscope. Scanning electron microscopes are very high-powered microscopes. We don't have these in the school. They do have one of these at ASU, but these use electrons, and they can magnify objects up to about 2 million times. But unfortunately, they can't use living specimens because the process of using electrons kills them. And then there's the transmission electron microscope. This also uses electrons, but it passes the electrons through the specimen, so you get a very good image of the surface. So here's one that's used. This image was created by a transmission electron microscope, and you can see the inside of the cell, and so not just the surface of a cell, but you can see all the organelles inside the cell. All right, so using the light microscope, this is what you're going to be using in class. I want you to always carry it with two hands. Generally, they'll be set up on the lab benches and you won't have to move it, but if yours isn't working and you need to trade it out, you might have to get a different one. So carry it with two hands. You have to use lens paper to clean the lens. So if you look in there and it looks really dirty, then get some lens paper from me so you can clean it. Do not force the knobs. If they don't turn easily, then they don't want to turn. And there's something that is jamming it, or the stage is up too high, so just call me over and I'll see what's going on with that. We store them covered, so if you put a microscope back onto the cart, you need to put the plastic cover back on it. And when you're using the microscopes, you want to keep the objects clear of it. So the things that you're using at the lab bench need to kind of stay away from the microscope, and the cords need to stay up around the microscope and not be dangling down so that they can catch on things and pull the microscope off of the bench. All right, so here are the microscope parts. It's not too complicated, but sometimes it can be intimidating when you go to start using it. The eyepiece, pretty obvious. This is where you're going to look into it. The arm right here is where you would carry the microscope. This is the stage. So this whole black platform that you see right here, that's what we call the stage. And so we might say something like move the stage up or down. And the coarse focus, this large knob right here, is how you move the stage up or down. And then the fine focus is this smaller knob here. And you won't want to use the fine focus until you have the coarse focus adjusted. All right, the bottom part here is the base. This is the light. And so sometimes you have to adjust the light diaphragm, which is up here. There's a little knob there that you can turn, and it allows more or less light in. These stage clips right here, they look a little bit like bobby pins, but these stage clips are what hold your slide on the microscope. And then the objective lens are these. This is how you change the magnification power. So it shows you there's this revolving nose piece. So you would really just turn this, and that will move these objective lenses so that you can use a different magnification power. There are three magnifications. There's scanning, which is the 4 times. It'll be the smallest ocular lens on the microscope. And then there's low power, which is 10 times, and that's going to be a little bit bigger of objective or lens. And then there's high power, which is the 40 times. So with scanning, you get a total magnification of 40. With low power, you get a total magnification of 100. And with high power, you get a total magnification of 400. All right, so when you go to use the microscope, I'm going to have you leave your backpacks at the desk. I only want you to take your paper and something to write with to the lab bench. You need to make sure the microscope is plugged in, and you also have to turn the microscope on. Okay, you want to always start focusing your specimens on the lowest power. So what you want to do is you want this smallest objective to be pointed down towards the stage, and that means that you're focusing with the lowest power. You want to do that because if you don't find the object with the lowest power first, then the magnification at the higher powers is too high. You can't even find the object that you're looking for that's on the slide. Now, you might have to move the slide around, but you're going to use the knobs that are attached to the stage clips. So those knobs will move your slide back and forth, or they'll move it front to back. So always make sure you're using those knobs and not just trying to slide the glass slide around on the stage. All right, so once you have focused on scanning, you're going to switch to low power. You're going to use the coarse knob to refocus, and then use the fine focus. And once you have narrowed it in and you're focused on the fine setting really well, then you're going to switch to the high power. All right, if you're using a thick slide or a slide without a cover, don't use the high power objective because it can break the slide. Okay, so just to recap, you're going to start with the scanning, so the lowest power, and use the coarse knob. Then you switch to low power and use the coarse knob. And then you can switch to high power and use the fine focus. All right, to clean up after the lab, you want to return the objective to scanning. So you're going to return that objective to the smallest one and turn off the microscope. That's really important because we don't want to burn the bulbs out. For your slides that you have, you're going to throw the cover slips away. Those are not reusable, but the slides are reusable. So don't throw the slides away, just throw the little cover glass slip away. Don't put it in the sink because they'll clog up the drain. You have to actually put it in the trash can. So you're going to wash the slides in the sink and then dry them with a paper towel. Make sure you dry them off because if you don't, it'll leave spots on the slide and then you can't really tell those spots from what you're looking for. You're going to place the lab materials in the blue tray that is at your lab bench. Throw away any used paper towels, and then you can call me over and I will inspect your lab station. And that's the end of this presentation.